so we do have 4-year cycles. I mean, a lot of people were talking about how the cycles were getting elongated, but honestly, that hasn't been the case. It's been dead on to 4 years, basically. 2009, it was created. 2013 was the next top, 2017, 2021. So all we can do is look at history, and the history shows us that the bear market will last. So from peak to trough is usually about 12 months. We're already 6+ months in, so that's a good thing. And then usually the recovery comes in the next 6 months after, where it'll start to chop sideways and then begin to grind up. So I think, as far as the charts are telling me, it's basically we are in a bear market. Probably price still has downside to go, but look at it like you're going to get the best buying opportunity of your life. So my general price target has us going to between 20 and 12,000. So I'll just start right around 20. Yeah, sorry.
Woo!
But again, it's a short-term low. And you have to keep in mind so crypto's never been through a period where the Fed has been hiking rates like this, where they've been sucking money out of the system. So this is a new uncharted territory for Bitcoin. And in previous bear cycles, Bitcoin's dropped like 80 to 85%, which actually, that gives me my low end target of 12,000. That's right around 85% correction from the 69,000 high. Now, I think that because adoption is continuing and more big money is getting in, I'm hopeful that it doesn't get that low. But as a trader, one of the things I've learned is never underestimate the markets, whether it's stocks or crypto or anything. It will surprise you. And that could be, by the way, hey, it maybe just starts going up right now and surprises me too. So it can do anything it wants. All we can do is kind of be smart enough to leave enough dry powder where we can accumulate at lower moves if it does happen. And so that's one of the biggest changes in my trading is when I was a young trader, I would be like, oh, this is the buy price. I'm going to buy it all here, put all my money in, and then it would go down further. And I'd be like, oh crap. And I can't do anything about it. Now I'm much more of let me put a little bit of money here. And then if it drops here, I'll add a little bit more. If it drops here, and you kind of dollar cost average. And dollar cost averaging is the best thing in the world. I still remember I was in Dubai at the blockchain summit, and I did a live interview there. And I said, and this was when we were at 65, 67,000, just before we hit the peak in November. And I said, hey guys, I think it's going down to 20. And oh my God, did people you're crazy. It'll be at 100,000 by the end of November, plan B and all these things. And I remember it vividly. And to be honest, I use that in my trading. I mean, this may sound weird, but the contrarian, when everyone is bullish, chances are its price is topping. And then when everyone is extremely bearish, price is bottoming. So sentiment is so important as a trader to kind of pay attention to, but you have to separate yourself out so you don't get caught up in the hype. And there were dead signals on Bitcoin back in November that it was topping. I mean, there were so many bullish people out there, and price barely pierced the high from April, and it came right back in. Then it did it again. And if everyone was bullish and buying, it should have just ripped, and it didn't. And that told you institutions were unloading there. And I saw that. I mean, it's amazing stuff. Yeah. The only thing I have going for me is that because I've traded for so long, I've seen a lot of these things. So the same thing in crypto that was going on in late 2021 happened in the stock market in 2007. And then in 1999, the dot-com bubble. So I've kind of I've been to this rodeo, and I've got my head handed to me enough times where I started if you touch a hot stove, you're like, that hurts. All right, maybe I won't touch that again. Maybe that's a signal. And that's the same thing. As you get burned enough, you start to wisen up. You have to wisen up. Don't chase something that people are pushing in social media. I think you have to be aware that think for yourself. Think about if you think about Bitcoin and you think about what the government's doing and you think about it makes sense why that should be. But there's altcoins out there that are junk that people are just trying to pump and dump. This happened, by the way, if you ever watch The Wolf of Wall Street, I've always said that what went on in that show is happening in crypto now. That was in the 1980s in stocks. It's now the 2020, 2015, 19, 20 and so forth in crypto. So just be aware of that. Is think for yourself, think logically. Don't ever chase because people are trying to get you an emotional response. And I think keep emotion out of trading. Dollar cost average, go into a trade always thinking you might be wrong. You'll be safer that way and you won't get hammered as much. The market does give you humility. There were days, and there were countless days, more than I could even count, where I would try something and I would lose, let's say out of my 10,000, I'd drop 2,000 or 3,000. So 20, 30% in one day. And it's just it breaks your heart. and you're like, can I actually do this? Am I good enough to do this? Can I ever achieve my goal? And thank goodness I stuck with it. But there certainly was so many days where you just question yourself, like what am I doing wrong? Why is this happening? And luckily I was able to pick myself up and just keep pushing ahead.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dan.